Hello everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Grandma. Today it's cookie day in Grandma's kitchen. We're going to start with sour cream drop cookies. We're going to make these. These are nice and soft. I'm trying to find muffins or cookies that aren't too sweet that my mother-in-law can eat, because we buy her the store brand muffins. My husband always buys her muffins from the store, but she makes such a mess with them because they get dried out and they get crumbly and it's a big mess. So I'm trying to find different recipes that she can eat, homemade kind of cookies or cupcakes. She's 95 and she doesn't have a tooth in her head, so she's got to have something real soft. So these cookies I've made before, and they're real soft. So we're going to start off with a half a cup of softened margarine. And we're going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This is a pretty easy recipe. The ingredients are things that we already have in our cupboards, and not a lot of detail. Just kind of throw it in, mix a little bit in between, and then go ahead. So, and then 1 cup of sugar. Well, this has got sugar in it, but I mean everything does. And when you distribute it through like 2 or 3 dozen cookies, you're not getting a lot of sugar per cookie. So it's okay to have if you're diabetic. So we're going to mix this in together. Get the cream, the sugar and the butter cream together, and get that baking soda mixed in. Definitely want that mixed right in. Okay, get that good, and it's quick and easy. You can use a hand mixer if you like, but I mean, you see how quickly and easily that came together just using the wooden spoon. Nothing to it. It's super quick. I'm just going to turn my oven on though to preheat it. You always want to preheat your oven when you're doing cookies. Okay, so after that we're going to add 2½ cups of flour. We're going to put it all in all at once. 2½ cups. 2½ cups. And we're going to put in an egg. And 3½ teaspoonfuls of baking powder. So these are going to rise up a little bit they won't spread, but they'll rise up when you bake. Okay, where's my 1 teaspoon? Here we go. So 3½ teaspoons. Well, 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So instead of getting your 1 teaspoon doing it 3 times, just do a tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon and then 1/2 teaspoon. So because it's 3½ teaspoons. So that's another hint for you. I'm trying to find my 1/2 teaspoon here. 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So you don't have to. That's just an easy way to remember that. Okay, so that's in. And now we're going to put in 1/2 cup of sour cream. Now, you might think that these don't have a lot of flavor because they're just, sour cream and buttered eggs, but they do. They have a nice gentle flavor to it. You can add things to this. You can add some chocolate chips, or you can add some orange flavoring or lemon, whatever flavoring you like. But try them this way first and see what you think of it. They're really good. So we're just going to mix all this in. Very, very easy. And that's all the ingredients in this. That's it. Egg, sugar, butter, flour, baking soda, baking powder, and sour cream. And it is a little bit of a stiff dough, so once it gets mixed, it won't be quite so stiff. I'm going to drop spoonfuls of these onto baking sheet. And it says to use a buttered baking sheet, but I've got my Silpat, so I don't need to butter. Okay, now this is a little stiffer than it isn't as nice and soft and creamy as usual. Okay, it's getting there. I might have to just add, sometimes if you get batter like this that's a little bit on the stiff side, I mean you could roll these into little balls and put them on your cookie sheets, but sometimes when this happens, I probably should have mixed the flour in a little bit more gradually to get it incorporated, but so I'm just going to get the milk and add just a titch of milk. I'm just going to add just a couple of drops just to kind of soften this up a little bit. It didn't seem to be quite as soft as it should be. Okay, so I just added a little bit of milk and it's a lot more, you know, softer and doable. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch them up just a teeny bit. I'm going to add in about maybe I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, and I'm going to make these into lemon sour cream drops, just to give it a little extra flavor, a little extra kick, and just get that all mixed in. I don't have an actual lemon, so I can't use the zest, and I'm not a big zest person anyway. I don't like all those little bits in my cookies. A lot of people, when they make orange things or lemon, they get the zest, and I don't know. I've never been a fan, so I just put lemon or orange juice or whatever it is I'm doing. So it just gives it just a hint of lemon. Just a nice little hint. You always want to taste it. I know they say don't taste raw cookie dough. It's got a raw egg and blah blah blah. You know how you always give your kids the spoon and let them lick the bowls and lick the spoons. Come on. You taste it to make sure it's seasoned properly and it's flavored properly. So now I'm going to put them by teaspoonfuls on a baking sheet. Again, I've got my Silpat. I don't have I'm not going to butter a baking sheet, which I could have. Now I'm going to put them kind of close together. They will puff up, but not out. They won't spread. I don't think so. I'm trying to remember because it's been quite a while since I made these. So I'm just going to go ahead and put, this is a larger baking sheet, so I can get a few more. I can get like 18 cookies versus 12. If you don't need to put them too close together. If you put them too close together, then they do get into one big blob. But I can get 18 on this tray. So here we go. We'll pop these in the oven. We'll set this bowl aside, and we'll start our next cookie recipe while these are baking. You want these to bake for, let's see, well, it says bake in a moderate oven. I don't know why I don't have the time written down. These recipes were and then I typed them out and put them on cards, or somebody did it for me, and sometimes all the directions didn't get included. So I'm going to give them 7 minutes. We're going to start at 7 and see what happens. You said you can always add time, but you can't take it away. Once you've burned them, you burned them. There's nothing you can do. No going back. 3, 6, 9, 12. I got 15 cookies on this. So I'm going to pop them in for 7 minutes because they're not that big. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to set this bowl aside, and I'm going to another bowl, and we're going to make chocolate drop cookies. It's kind of similar, but instead of sour cream, you're using chocolate. Now it calls for 2 squares of chocolate. Well, I've showed you guys in my videos before the trick for making melted squares of chocolate with cocoa powder. You just take the cocoa powder and you put, oops, wrong thing. Put this one here. I'm going to put like 3 heaping tablespoons into bowl 3 heaping teaspoons of the cocoa powder, and I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of butter, and I am waiting for the water to get hot. I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoons of hot water, and when you mix this all together, you have your melted chocolate. So you can go buy Baker's Square chocolate, but if you're ever out of it, this is what you do. So the hot water is hot. I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons. You want to start out with just 2 or 3. You can always add some more. And if it gets too watery, if you've added too much, then, you know, just add a little more cocoa powder. So you can melt the butter also, but I mean, it just, when you put the hot water in there, it mixes it right up. So you see how that's stirring up, and it's not really melting just yet, so I'm going to need some more hot water. Put some more hot water. It's about 1/4 of a cup if I measured it. It equals to about, give or take, about 1/4 of a cup. So when I put the recipe in the description box for you, I will put in as written, you know, which is 2 squares of chocolate melted. But you can follow my tip and do this. So there's a little water at a time. And you don't want it real runny, but you don't want it too thick, because when you melt chocolate, you want it's pretty soft. There. Okay. And there you go. Melted chocolate. Just like that. You've got chocolate squares. And that's just the consistency you want. That's perfect. So shut my hot water off. Now, we're going to melt. It says melt the chocolate and add the melted shortening. Now this does call for melted shortening, so I am going to go ahead and melt some into a bowl and then add it to my chocolate. It calls for 1/2 cup of butter or shortening. So I will go melt this. I'll be right back. I just put it into a small bowl and put it in the microwave, and it'll melt in like 30 seconds. It won't take long at all. There we go. 30 seconds, not even, it was like 8 seconds left on it. So there's 1/2 cup. Oh, I just figured that quickly. Exactly. I just guessed. And we're going to add that into our chocolate and stir it in. You got to be careful, because the chocolate gets, if you let it sit, it'll seize up. It'll get a little bit tight again. So now with the butter in it, it's going to get real thin and real watery. And get all the lumps out. You don't want any bumps. It's going to get mixed some more. So I mean, but you still want it nice and smooth. There we go. So now I'm going to put this into my big mixing bowl, because from now we have to add the rest of our ingredients to the melted chocolate. There we go. Put the bowl in the sink. Just going to push this off of the spoon where it kind of a little bit hardened, you know, because from when it's sat. Okay, so to this we're going to add sugar, egg, milk, and soda and flour. So we need 1 cup of brown sugar. 1 cup of brown sugar. I have just a cup left. That was perfect. One of those things that I didn't put on my grocery list for last time. Okay, 1 cup of brown sugar. So we're going to put, if you're ever out of brown sugar, you can just use white sugar. It's just that brown sugar is a titch sweeter, but other than that, or add a little bit of molasses to your white sugar and stir it, that's brown sugar. That's basically what it is. So we need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. teaspoon. Half a tablespoon, I don't want that, that's too much. Come on, there we go, half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon, I'm going to sprinkle that all around so it gets good and mixed in. And 1 egg. Again, this is one of those recipes that you just, after the chocolate melting that part of it, you just dump everything in and mix it up. And 2 cups of flour. A little more, come on, there we go. And 2 cups of flour. And 3/4 of a cup of milk. 3/4 of a cup of milk, and there's my timer for our sour cream lemon drops. I'm going to check those before I mix that in. They're going to need another couple of minutes. They're not quite done. They're still pretty soft, so I'm going to give it 3 more minutes while I mix these and get these on the tray for my next. We'll switch them out. So again, I'll put all the recipes in the description box below. If there is any recipe that you'd like me to make, whether it's a dessert recipe, an appetizer, a sweet recipe, anything you'd like, leave it in the description box or in the comments below, and I will do my best to get the ingredients and make them. Make whatever it is you like. If you want to learn how to make something, again, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll show you in the video how to do it. I've been cooking since I was able to reach the stove. Even then, I used to stand on a little stool. My dad would come home from work and we'd make supper together. And as I got older, I just did it for them. When I come home from school, they worked and I had everything ready by the time they got home. So I'm going to get my cookie sheet out here. I'm just going to do the same thing. Oh, there's my timer. Just a second. I'll get those out. Okay, now they're done. So that took 8 minutes for this size. So that's the size there. They just got puffy, but they didn't spread. So you can even put them a little bit closer. So it's a very nice, soft cookie. Broken in half. See there, it's the inside. It's just a really nice, soft cookie. So actually she can eat these. I'll take her a couple over for dessert tonight for supper. Well, these are sour cream drops, but I added a little lemon juice to it. So they're lemon sour cream drops. Just a very subtle hint of lemon. It's not a strong flavor, but just a hint. So now with our chocolate drop cookies, it's basically the same thing. We're going to put them, drop them on, just like we did the other ones. These ones I'm going to make a little bit bigger. Now these don't have baking powder in them, so they're not going to rise up like they're going to stay about the same as they are right now on the tray. So I can put them a little closer together because they're not going to spread. Just scooch you up a little bit. Then you can get more on the same tray. Because these trays, I have to put long ways in my oven. They're too big. I can't get 2 in unless I put one on the top shelf, one on the bottom. But when you're doing cookies, you always want them on the middle rack of your oven because that's where they bake the most evenly. And you don't want them... The bottom shelf will get done a lot quicker than the top shelf will. And if you have a timer on and you're setting it for 10 minutes or whatever, in 8 minutes the ones on the bottom are going to be done and they're going to burn a little bit. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, so again I'll get 15. So we're just going to put these 3 on here and pop them in the oven. And it just says to bake in a moderate oven, which is 350, but it doesn't give me the time, but they're the similar consistency and size of the sour cream drops, so I'm going to start them off at 8 minutes and see what happens. Timer. Okay, and I'll let you know how they look. Okay, so my chocolate drop cookies are finished. They're just, you know, similar, and I got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and they're pretty big. They spread a little, but not enough that they, you know, touched each other or anything like that. So, and they're the same kind of type as the lemon drop. And you see inside, they're just nice and cakey-like. So yeah, it's a nice soft cookie. So these would be nice for little ones that, you know, don't have teeth yet. They're not overly sweet, and the other one's the sour cream drops. You know, you don't have to add the lemon juice in it. I just did that for extra flavor. So there we go. Sour cream drop cookies, sour cream lemon drop cookies, and chocolate drop cookies. So leave me a comment below what you think, what you'd like me to make, and what you think of my channel. And please hit that like button. We're not having too many people hit the like button. We're getting views, but we're not hitting. So if you don't like it, okay, you don't like it, that's fine. But just please click on that like button and subscribe if you haven't. So everybody stay safe, stay home if you can, and have a good day. Bye for now.